What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. We're out at the farm today, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about 4 different pruning methods you need to know to master pruning your fruit trees. Let's go. When you think of the ideal shaped tree, the ideal shaped tree is done through maintenance. It's not done through just letting the tree grow at its own devices. You see, if we were just to let this tree grow, it would produce a ton of growth, an overabundance of leaves, an overabundance of branches, and it would get far too tall for us to be able to manage properly on the ground. A good shaped tree should be a tree that hosts a lot of fruit, but has openings for sunlight to come in and help ripen fruit, as well as airflow to help cut down on pests and disease. It also is low to the ground where we can maintain it from the ground. We should never have to get up on a tall ladder to maintain our tree. It also makes spraying nearly impossible as well. And so we're going to implement these 4 different pruning styles to get the tree to have the right shape, the right size, and ultimately open up parts of the tree that when it does host fruit, the fruit can ripen adequately and at a right time that won't invite pests and disease to come in. So the 4 different types of pruning are heading cuts, thinning cuts, jump cuts, and then there's another type of cut called releadering. And we'll talk about all 4 of those. Now, all 4 are not going to be used at the same time. I mean, it might be used at the same time, but rarely are they. Usually you're going to use 1 or 2 per tree, and they're used in different cases. So let's talk about the first one, which is a heading cut. When it comes to a heading cut, the idea behind a heading cut is we are shortening the tree. We're essentially forcing the tree to stop growing upward for the time being and promote outward lateral growth. You see, this tree right here is really tall and spindly. This is a Liberty apple. And the thing with a Liberty apple, well, all apples, not just Liberty, but you either have a semi-dwarf, a dwarf, or a conventional or standard rootstock. And if it's a dwarf rootstock, it's going to be capped at about 8 to 10 feet tall, meaning if it was on a dwarf rootstock, this would be as tall as the tree's ever going to get. But it's not. It's on a semi-dwarf rootstock, which is going to get us about 15 feet of growth. And we don't want a tree that's 15 feet tall because that's impossible to maintain on the ground. And so what we're going to do is we are going to come in and we're going to conduct a heading cut. Now, a heading cut also will help to advocate for all this thin, spindly growth to force out and become branches. We want branches. We don't want just a twig of a tree. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to actually take off. This is going to be, it's going to seem very dramatic, and it does hurt because these are flower buds here, but we don't want it to flower anyways. We want to promote lots of growth. So we're going to come in here and we cut this off. Now see, these would have eventually grown here and that'd have been great. But the thing is, it was already too tall as it was. And so what we're doing here is we're essentially going to promote these branches to grow out. And then the second thing that's going to happen is it's going to force it's going to have to choose a new central leader. And that new central leader will probably be this branch. I would guess that this branch will become the new central leader, which is also another type of pruning called releadering. So by doing a heading cut, it doesn't always choose a new leader. I'll show you a prime example. So in this case, this tree here needs to be topped as well. We need a heading cut done on this tree because it's just a super long spindly stick and we want to promote more lateral growth. It's got some down here, which are going to be great, but I want to choose a spot that's going to be roughly about a foot from the nearest branching spot here. So this is a branch, this is a branch, this is a branch, and this is a branch. And I want to pick a spot that's about a foot up from that. And I want to cut on a 45-degree angle to allow watershed to move off. It's not going to promote rot or mold. And this right here, we could actually take this and graft it. I'll save that for later. This is a Medial door apple. And now this tree has gotten a lot shorter. And you might think, well, that stinks, to put all that time and growth into growing. But the reality is that we had to advocate some type of lateral growth. Otherwise, it was just going to be a super tall stick. So these buds here will then, at some point, the energy will come up. It will force these buds to begin growing, and those will become branches. This is a heading cut that does not include releadering. Releadering is if you have established branches near a heading cut, those will then force one to become the new growth leader, still while encouraging that lateral growth. A little bit nuanced, but it's very important you understand the two. This one here, there's no new main leader that's going to form. Eventually that will happen, but that's not the main primary focus for why we did this heading cut. So now we're going to talk about a thinning cut. So a thinning cut, as the name would imply, basically thins out foliage. We want to promote a wide distance between our branches, because the more branches we have might seem like a good thing. More branches, more leaves, more possibility for fruit. However, that's not what we want. What we want are we want to choose and select the most robust and thick branches that are growing in an outward pattern that are a good distance away from another branch. Because if they get too crowded, what's going to happen is you're going to have less sunlight coming in to ripen fruit. You're going to have less sunlight to help to dry the fruit, dry the leaves. You're also going to have less airflow as well, which can promote powdery mildew, rots, and molds. It also does not allow that fruit to ripen up adequately. So if you come in here, you'll notice we have got some really nice thick branches. These are very nice thick branches growing outward. But then we have this smaller, spindlier branch here. And then just above it, we've got a more robust branch right here. And we want this more robust branch. We don't want this growing up into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right in close to that branch and cut that off. That's a thinning cut. And then from there, what we're going to then do is we're going to actually do a heading cut. Now, again, we talked about how a heading cut stops that upward growth. And we are going to do a heading cut on the tips just below a bud. So we need to conduct a heading cut because these are really long and we want to make sure we get that outward feathering. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually conduct a heading cut. Now it's on a 45-degree angle just behind this bud here. That is a heading cut on a lateral branch. I could also come in here and I could say, well, I want to do a heading cut there. And that is a heading cut behind that lateral branch. And so you can continue to do heading cuts until you reach the very trunk. At that point, it's a thinning cut. Coming in here, we're going to do a heading cut up here. It's a little too tall, a 45-degree angle, just above, about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch above a bud. Took off that main growth leader there, and it's going to produce some more good side shoots over here. So that's thinning. We want to make sure we thin any branches here that are going to basically grow into one another. We want to essentially choose branches that are going to be the right spacing apart, that are not going to be growing into each other. This one is a good distance from this one. This one is a little close to this one. So I'm actually going to come in here. I'm going to take that out. You have these little pointless things there. Clean those up. There's another little branch right here. It's a lot thinner than the way that it was before. This is another reason why you thin as well. See this damage here? This was caused from some type of cut or abrasion, and it tried healing it over. But at the end of the day, do I want to save an already damaged branch? It's not necessary. You could also cut out disease as well. Like fire blight is a disease that will come in and affect apple trees and pear trees. And fire blight is very contagious and can spread from tree to tree very easily and spread through bacteria that is found on rotting fruit on the ground or foliage. And if it spreads to the trees, you got to prune that out when it's dormant to stop it from spreading down below the tree. So that is a thinning cut. Now let's talk about a type of cut you probably won't come in contact with very often on new trees, but I still want to cover it because it is very important. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a jump cut. Now a jump cut is a very important type of cut if your trees have large branches that need maintenance. So these apples here, they all are very small. The branches are less than 1/2 inch in diameter. And because they're so small, they don't have a whole lot of weight on them. But if you ever get a really large branch that's over 1 inch in diameter, it's important to do a jump cut. And what a jump cut essentially is 3 separate cuts that are all intended to help to relieve the weight off the branch before the actual cut is made, the intended cut. And what that prevents is it prevents the tree, or that prevents the branch from weighing down as it's being cut. This is usually done with like a hand saw. You would not do this with pruners. But what happens is as it weighs down and you're making the cut, what happens is the weight ends up pulling that bark and can strip the bark all the way down to the tree, promoting pests and disease to come into the tree. If we're going to be doing a jump cut, and let's say this branch was really chunky, we need to cut it out. What we're going to do is we're going to go underneath first, and we're going to make a cut about halfway through the branch. Then about 2 to 3 inches past that point, we're going to make our cut. And as we cut through on the top of the branch, the weight of the branch is going to pull down. It's going to splice through the branch. It's going to hit that underneath cut that we made first, and it's going to break, leaving us with a little bit of a stump. That little stump has very little weight, and at that point we can come in and cut it off completely from the top all the way down as close to the center of the tree as possible. And that is a jump cut. The reason why is it jumps from the second cut to the first cut, so you can make your third cut cleanly and does not open up any wound where the bark is going to peel back and encourage pests and disease. You guys, it is so cold. The fact that we are out here pruning trees, it might seem crazy, but you actually want to be pruning your trees when the trees are dormant. This can happen anytime from late December all the way through into even early April, depending on where you're at. The biggest thing is you want these trees to be dormant though. They shouldn't be breaking bud. They should not be forcing sap up into the leaves. So you want to do it when it's cold. And on a farm of this size, we're going to probably spend a month or two pruning trees once it's fully established. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one final cut here. And this is, I talked about it in the beginning, but this is a releadering cut. Now a releadering cut is where we want to promote lateral growth, but we also want to advocate a new branch to become a leader. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, and we're going to come in on about a 45-degree angle and cut just above. We're going to produce a heading cut on that main growth leader, just above some branches here. And what's going to happen is inevitably one of these two buds are going to form and produce a new growth leader. Now I could come in all the way under here, and I could cut this off just like that, and that would then guarantee that this is the new growth leader. If I wanted to come in here, I could then do my heading cuts to stop those branches from forming much taller. Got my heading cuts there, heading cut here, heading cut there, and heading cut there. But notice the only thing that made this a releadering cut was the fact that it was done slightly above an already established lateral branch. That's the only thing that defines that. If these had lateral branches on them, they could, in theory, be turned into releadering cuts. One of those new lateral branches would just go, we cut just above that. So those are the 4 different types of pruning that you need to know to mastering pruning your fruit trees. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. This applies to cherries, peaches, plums, nectarines, apples, pears, it doesn't really matter. Just know that there are different seasons and different years to prune each tree. That's done through a little more research. Maybe we'll follow up with doing a part 2. But you have to first understand these types of pruning before then you can go in and have a little more nuance. Just to cover a prime example, apples, they fruit on old year growth. So producing that growth will basically give you a lot of growth, and then they're going to fruit on that new growth the following season. So it becomes old growth. Whereas with peaches, you're pruning to advocate new growth, and then that is going to then bud that second year out on the new growth. So these apples here, they're treated a little bit differently than peaches, but the same pruning method applies to all different types of fruit trees. So the nuance matters once you get into each individual type. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to throw a like up there. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to learn more, make sure you go follow our friend James Prigioni. He is the master of pruning fruit trees. He is so incredibly knowledgeable, and a lot of what we have learned comes from him and our other friends at University Extensions, like the University of Minnesota. So thank you guys so very much for your support, and we'll catch you all in the next episode. As always, grow bigger. Take care. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care.